Hey, right, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. In this video, we're going to start building out our nav component. The idea is we should have a handful of different links that will take us to different places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a header, not capital header, header tag. In that header tag, I'm going to have a nav tag to represent the nav. Then here I'm going to have an H1, just kind of to be a name of the site. Okay, Alex Merced note taking app. Okay, and then in this nav component, we're going to have several links. And each link is going to be encapsulate a div that is going to be a link to somewhere. Okay, and again, each link we pass in a to prop. So one's going to be to home. So this will be home. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to have one that takes you to auth, sign up. Another one that takes you to auth, login. Okay. And then we'll add a logout button later once we have the whole auth set up. But let's just take a look at how this is looking now. Okay, I probably have to import some stuff. Yep, I got to import link and whatnot. So import link from React, from React router DOM. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, good, no more errors. There's the links. We just want to make that look a little bit better. Okie dokie. So what I am going to do is we have the header tag, so I can just use that to style. I'm just going to use the global style sheet styles.css. Okay, let's get rid of all this. And we'll start off with header. And header can be, so we're going to start with header nav and header nav. So a nav inside the header tag. That is going to have a display flex. I want to justify the content. Justify content. And I want to do flex between space around. Let's see how that's looking so far. So there we go. We have kind of like a spread out app. And let's center that H1. So header, text align, center. And again, this is all going to be part of, this is the nav component styling. Nope. Nav component. There we go. Then we want to make that a comment. There we go. And there we go. That works for me. Okay. Space that out a little bit better. Save. Okay, and let's make these look a little bit nicer. Home. The links, so header, nav, div, a. Actually, no. Header, nav, because the links are outside of the div, so the a is after nav, is a child of nav. Okay, and I want the color of those to be black. Text decoration, none. Let's see if that does what I wanted to do. That did. Okay, and then we will decorate the text using the div tag. So header, nav, div. And we're going to say that the font size is larger. See, make sure it's not making it too big. Nope. Okay, then we're going to say that the background color, say, is just make it crimson. The font color will be white. The width of these divs should be about 200 pixels. Okay, and just make sure that's enough. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then we're going to give it a little bit of a border radius to give it a little curvature. So we'll say 7 pixels. And I want to give it a transition, so that way it looks like a button. So I'm going to say transition. So we want to transition whenever the background color changes. That lasts about 0.2 seconds. And same thing when the color changes for about 0.2 seconds. Okay. Now let's do a hover, header nav div hover. So that way when we hover over the buttons, that's when the background color and color will change. So we're going to say that the color, or first we'll change the background color. Background color becomes something lighter. So we'll say burly wood, so it's not a complete white. But then the color becomes crimson. So let's see that effect. So go here, see. That's the only thing I'm going to add. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's better than it was. I'm going to add some padding of, let's say, 10 pixels. Yeah, it's a little bit more button-like. I can live with that. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Nav. And again, we change those. Change this to sign up and login. Okay. Now what I want to do, so this auth page is what's going to show whenever we have the login or sign up route. First, let's just make sure that we're getting that it can re-render every time the prop changes. So I'm going to do this. In basically that URL param is being passed in through the props. So we're going to just say that const of type equals match. Well, it's actually going to be props dot match dot params dot form, I think it was. Go back to app.js. Yeah, dot form. So the auth.js dot form. Okay. And right now, let's just show type here. Let's just see if we see it on the screen. So if I click on sign up, I see sign up. If I click on login, does it change? It does. Good. So that way it's different depending which form I click on, but I'm using the same auth component. So that's pretty neat, right? Okay. Very, very good. Okay, so I can alter it depending on which one it is. Cool. Now, here's what I will do. Okay. What else I want to do is we're going to also have to change the function. First, let's create the form. Okay. H1. So this is going to be should be here. This should probably be a div because we might need to do other styling. And then inside that div is going to be the form tag. And then inside that form, we're going to have an input for username and password. Input type equals text. So I'm not going to worry about the age number. Type text. The name of the property that's going to be here is password. Okay, and eventually we're going to need to do value. Okay, and a non-change. So we'll come back to that. Okay. So we need that. We need, well, this should, well, that's fine. Control C. We need gonna be one for username, and we need a submit button. So this should be username. This should be a password type field. And this should be a type submit. Okay, we don't care about the name of a submit field. We do care about the value, which the value should be whatever the type is. So that way it'll say sign up on the sign up form. It'll say submit. It'll say login on the login form. Okay, and that's pretty neat. Okay, so let me save this. Let Prettier fix it up for me. Yay, that looks a lot nicer. And now let's take a look. Okay, that's fine. That's just something that happens on router. We can fix that when we deploy it to Netlify. If I go to sign up, see now the form says sign up on the button. And when I click login, it says login. Okay, so see I'm able to, this is like the benefit of component-based design. You can make things reusable. Okie dokie. So with that, so now that that is that, okay. Let's see here. What I'm going to do is a couple different things. First, I'm just going to create something for later. Const actions. This is going to be an object with a couple properties, because later on we're going to have to create a function that does that passes the right action to dispatch, depending on what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan ahead the fact that I know I have a string called type, and make two actions that already match that string. Okay, you'll see this is going to be really cool. So I'm going to do sign up. Okay, and sign up is going to be an object that has an action of type sign up, and a payload. And payload is going to be form data, because again we need to create state to hold the form. So let's do that. Const form data set form data equals react.useState, and that's going to be an object with a blank username and a blank password. Whatever this object is, it's going to get passed in as the payload. Okay, and then we have another object for when it's a login. Login action login and the payload. Because the beauty of, because we're using use reducer, I don't need to create like a bunch of different functions across my app. All the things that would normally be functions that I passed out as props are all going to just be different actions in that switch. So all I need to do is create the right actions to pass in. Okay, so action payload form data. Okay, cool. Save. Okay, nice. So that works for me. Then what do I want here? Set form data, username. That looks good to me. What I do is I want to pull in the global state, because I'm going to need that dispatch function. So I need to actually import that hook. So import use app state from // app state.jsx. Okay. Cool. And then I need to grab the dispatch from that. Okay, so I'm going to import, not import, const. I only care about the, I don't need the state. Let me think, is there anything in there I need right now? I'll just grab both just to, let me think about that. Right now I only need the dispatch. So I'll just grab the dispatch from use app state. Okay, and the cool thing, since we made it a hook, I don't have to like worry about also importing the context and passing into this thing. All that, we kind of dealt with that under the hood. We built the boilerplate where that's kind of just works. Cool. So dispatch. So now we have the dispatch function. Nice. Okay, so let's just save what we got so far so I can make this all nice and pretty. Okay. So we're going to use that when you submit the form. So what's going to happen is that when the form gets submitted, on submit, okay. Well, actually, we can make this. I don't have it. 1 second. First, let's just make the functions we need. So we need a handle change function for when we type in the form to control the form. Handle change, and again, if you've never seen a handle change function for a form before, then you need to watch my introductory React videos. Okay. And again, this is going to be an event handler, so it's going to take in an event. And all this is going to do is just update the form data. So set form data with the existing form data, and then update the property that matches the event.target.name, so the form field's name, with the form field's value, event.target.value. So if you update password, it'll update password in the form data. If you update the username, it'll update username. Target.value. So that updates, make sure that our form data is always up to date. Okay, although something is missing here. Form data. Oh, I see. Set form data. Why is this in parentheses? Okay, this needs to be wrapped in an object because again, you're passing in sort of the new form data. There we go. So that becomes the new state, an object. Again, this is literally the same handle change function you write for pretty much every form. So if you've done some forms in React, you've probably written this function before. Okay. Now, let's see here. So we need to make sure we put that here. So there's a couple things we need to do here. We need to add the onChange function equals handle change. OnChange equals handle change. And then in here, we need to bind this to our form state. So form data dot username. And this is bound to form data dot password. Okay, and again, we created those properties up here when we created our state. Starts out as an empty form. Okay, get rid of the second equal sign. Good, so that's set. Now we just need the thing that happens when the form is clicked on. So const handle submit equals event. I don't think I need the event, but just in case, I do need the event because I need to do event.prevent default to prevent the refreshing of by the form. And then I just use the dispatch function. And to the dispatch function, I'm going to pass whichever object from this actions object matches the type. Okay, actions type. Okay, because again, it's going to pass the string type, which will either match with sign up or login. Okay, so when it runs the dispatch function, it's going to look past either, again, this object or this object, which will have an action that matches the key I need. Okay, so this way, the logic is pretty straightforward and kind of changes based on the type dynamically. So now the form will send the right stuff to dispatch, but again, the actual login, the actual API calls need to exist in our reducer. Again, we're using global state, so a lot of our global state logic is going to exist in the reducer. So I need to head back to app state. And in app state, our reducer, we need to add some switches. So first we're going to add one in case the case is sign up, because that's what one would be. So if it's sign up, what's going to happen is at first, let's think about what we want to happen. Okay, what I want to happen is I want there to be a fetch. That fetch is going to go to state.url, because again, our URL is part of our state. State.url plus, I think it was users. Okay. And that's going to be a method post request. And then we need to include our JSON headers. Headers, content type, equals application JSON. And then we're going to include the body. And the body would be JSON.stringify. And the body we have from the payload. So that's going to be in the action.payload, because again, we passed in the form data as the payload. Okay. Yeah, so that would create the user. Okay, and then from that, we would get the response, dot then. Okay, it would be response equals response.json, then response. Well, in that case, we have the data, or we get back the user. So we'll technically have at the end. And what I want to do is we're going to return an object that includes the existing state. But now there's a token property that equals user.token. Okay. So now the token is part of our state. Okay, and the token should be part of our initial state, but it should be null to begin with, because we're going to use that for booleans, or use that for some checking of whether you're logged in or logged out. Okay. So token user.token. Good. Okay. And oh wait, no. Oh yeah, I guess you could do that. That's fine. Sign up, because you do get back the token when you sign up. Okay, and then theoretically it would be kind of the same if you log in. So I can almost just copy and paste this. Okay, and in this case would be log in. So you see what's going to happen is that anytime we use dispatch, we're creating a scenario for that specific type string that gets passed in. So in this case, it would still be to log in would be to slash login, and it would still be a post. We're still posting the payload. Yeah, so that still pretty much all works the same. And I'm trying to think, do I want to keep the username? I guess I probably should take the username. So username, user.username. And add that to the global state in case we want to use the username in different places. So I'll add that over here as well. And then add username null here as well. Okay, I hit save. And I think technically we should be able to log in now. Okay, I think we actually set that up. So let's go back to the main page. Okay, let me go to sign up. Let's see if I can sign up. Test 1. So I created a user called test1, and let me just check my components just to make sure that my form is working. So I go over here to the auth component. I see that the state, see password test1, username test1, that works. Okay. And an app state. Here's the state, which right now, again, token is null, username is null. So let's see what happens when I hit sign up. Okay. Oh, why did it do that? Let me think about that for 1 second. 404. Try to make a get request to auth sign up. Let me think about that. Auth Username. I see. I guess the event.prevent default didn't take right, so let me go double check. See how we did that. Go back to our login component, our auth component. Let's see here. We click on, oh, I never actually attached the function on submit equals handle submit. So again, it's going to run this function. That's going to prevent default and then run dispatch. Okay. Cool. Okay. We'll leave it at that for now. So let's go back to the main page again. Okay, I'm going to go sign up, go to components, because I want to see my state change here. Okay, so I type in test1 and test1 as my username and password. Okay, I'm going to hit sign up. If it all worked, I'm pretty sure we should see in here an app state. So we go to app state, the context, the state. Okay, and here this token and username should change. Okay, I didn't see that change, so let's take a look over here. Sources. Oh, I guess it's possible that this particular component didn't re-render. So we go back to the context provider, value, the state, change. Okay, so let's go to network, see did the call occur? Vendors, no, I don't see yet the call ever occurred. So let's go back. Dispatch, actions, type. So let me console log this. And console.log dispatch. I want to just make sure the dispatch is what I think it is, and I want to make sure that actions type is what I think it is. Save. So let's go back to the main page. Sign up. Test1. Test1. Okay, let's go back to our console. Fiber queue action, yeah, that's fine. That looks correct, and it grabbed the correct action. Action. Oh, I know why. This is supposed to be type. It's because it's action.type. My bad. So let's go back to auth. I need to fix these. This should be type. So it's just hitting that default because there's no type property. There we go. Because action is the whole object. And the action has a property called type and action called payload. So on that note, save. Let me just go make sure that my reducer has that right as well in those functions. So I'm passing in action.payload. Okay, so that makes sense. So let's go back to the main page again. I hit sign up, test1, test1. Again, I want to see here. I want to see that state changes. So auth, app state, context. See right now, token is null. Okay, and the username is null. So I want to hit sign up. Okay, let's go to console. Okay, so this time it did make a request. Okay. But it made it to log in. Not sure why. Let me go back to network. Where did I end up? So I want to see login. Down was the options one, so I really want to look at this one. Error, invalid username or password. Yeah, because I didn't mean to log in. Auth sign up. Go to the console, set the type sign up. So let me go take a look at my object here. Action, sign up, /users. Case, sign up. Based on the action.type. So that should work. Let me just see here. Console.log, network. Where did it send it to login though? So you sent the right information over, but to the wrong endpoint. Here we go, /users. So okay, a user did get created. So that did work. Oh, but I never put break. That's part why. So I need to include a break statement at the end of each of these. Okay, so I can see here that again, oh, not there, but I can see here in the network requests. So let's go back over here. I should be able to log in now. So let's go to login, test 1, test 1, login. There's a request, and the login was successful. So you see there, that's good. So let's see if that state got saved to my component. So if I go to app state, context, state is undefined. That's not good. Okay. So let's take a look at login. Did I return this funny? I want to return an object that's made up of the current state. Why is that undefined? If I go back to the router provider, take a look at this. No, not the router provider. I want to look at the context provider. And it has undefined state. Somewhere I'm forgetting to return something. So if it's default, return state. I'll put a break there just in case. If it's case login, fetch state URL method post, it did successfully log in. Dot then response.json. And then it's supposed to return in the second. So let's just double check that we got here. So this is console log user. Save. Okay, and we go click on login. I say test 1, test 1. I click login. Okay, and now if I click on context provider, state is undefined. But if I refresh this, oh, I go back to the main page, my state has all the things, which is what it should. Okay, let me log in, see if I get that console log, test 1, test 1. Okay, yeah, so it does console log the user, so it does get to that point. So it will be user.token and user.user. Oh, okay, 1 second. User, this would be user.user.username. Okay, well, let me think about why it still should work. console.log state. Make sure that that is what I think it is. So log in, test one. And the reason why I generally allow, instead of like pausing this video and fixing this, I just let you guys watch me troubleshoot it, is because then there's stuff to learn from watching someone troubleshoot, seeing the sort of the strategies that I take and seeing how I come to discovery. Cannot read property username of undefined. Okay. Error. Error password. It's not test one. Cannot read property URL of undefined. Yeah, something is. This return statement's having an issue, and I don't understand why. User, return this object that's made up of the state and the token, which is user.token. I'll go back to user.username. Let's make a new account. Sign up. Test 2. Test 2. Let's go to the network. So that came through. And a new user was created. So that was successful. Let's take a look at what happens in our components. And the state is becoming undefined. I think I may have to do a little bit more investigation on this one, but basically, again, the sign-up form is working. I just need to figure out why the reducer isn't working. So I'll investigate further, and I'll update you guys at the beginning of the next video.